had the absolute pleasure of being invited to the opening of the new temporary exhibit at the Lethbridge Military Museum. It takes you through the military career of William Edward Frame of Lethbridge, and it was an honor to be there with members of Mr. Frame's family today.
The loan of his artifacts helps in sharing and preserving the military legacy, and we are grateful for you to share that with us on a temporary basis. It benefits not only Lethbridge, but also Galbraith School and our future museum guest. Just a quick note on Bill Frame. He was born on the 12th of September, 1892, and he died on 6th August, 1959. He was married twice, first to Annie, then his second wife, Dorothy, and he had 2 children. He was a member of the 1st Militia Unit here in Alberta, Lethbridge. He joined the 25th Battery and was a member of the battery for 2.5 years. The unit at the time took a few years to gather its equipment and uniforms. Their very first public display was at Galt Gardens for the funeral of the King, where the battery fired a gun salute. And he had the distinction of firing the very first gun for that salute. Bill was also a principal and a cadet instructor at Galbraith School. When he resigned, he joined the King's Colors and enlisted as an officer in the 113th Lethbridge Highlanders and was placed in charge of the machine gun section within the battalion. His replacement at the Galbraith School was Frederick Phillips. He too was a cadet instructor, and he also joined shortly thereafter, and he joined the last unit from Lethbridge, the 78th Overseas Battery. And he was killed at the Battle of Passchendaele. At that school, there's a brass plaque commemorating his death. During the celebrations for the 100th anniversary of the school, they had collected pictures of all their principals, except for 4. I was able to obtain one of Sergeant Frederick Phillips, and thanks to the family, they were able to provide a picture of Mr. Frame as an officer with the Lethbridge Highlanders at that time. Upon arrival, when the 13th was sent overseas, it was disbanded like so many other regiments. He was transferred to the Canadian Machine Gun Corps, where he served with distinction. Near the end of the war, he was injured in his leg and knee and was discharged as medically unfit after the war ended in 1919. He received the Military Cross at Buckingham Palace, and you can read the citation at the display itself on a panel. His desire to serve became apparent again. In World War II, he joined as an officer with the Royal Canadian Ordnance Corps and retired as a major. Bill went on to serve further with distinction in the Alberta education system. Our goal of this temporary exhibit is to foster the importance in renewing and keeping military service alive within families, a proud part of military heritage that can be passed on to other generations. However, we know keepers of families' memorabilia out there sometimes don't know what to do with this material when an older family passes on, or they are the last of the family. So as a result, we encourage them to contact us or the Galt Museum for discarding the history and heritage of military service. They might not know it, but they might have a significant piece of history within their own collection. A piece of history that connects dots to other pieces of artifacts within collection museums across Canada. And that helps to tell future generations. As an example, there is a 7-inch reel-to-reel tape. Now in a digital age, that wouldn't need anything to anybody today, especially if you don't have a machine to play it. So it might just get discarded. I was able to salvage that piece of tape, have it digitized. It wasn't well described, but it was General Stewart speaking at the 50th anniversary of the artillery in Lethbridge. And he introduced 5 original members during that mess dinner in this very room. On that tape, the master of ceremonies passed on greetings by telegram, those who could not attend. One such telegram was from Bill Frame. And in that telegram, he shared how he fired the first gun at the King's funeral. As a military historian, I've not seen that written anywhere else. So that just shows us the impact in salvaging and preserving our military heritage. At this time, I'd like to invite Adrian to say a few words on behalf of the family.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Well, first of all, we'd like to say thank you to Glenn Miller for all that he has done for this wonderful display. William Edward Bill Frame would be so pleased to be remembered all these years later. As Glenn has mentioned, he was honored to be part of that salute to commemorate the funeral of King Edward VII. He was honored to receive the Military Cross from King George V at Buckingham Palace. He would be particularly proud of today that he's being remembered all these years later. I am so very proud and pleased that his grandsons are here today. Bill Yates of Lethbridge and Kem Yates from Calgary, and each in his own way has treasured and shared his grandfather's military history and experience. And that makes me extremely proud, and I know that my father would have been so pleased to know that his history has been shared in that way. I'd like to thank the Lethbridge Military Museum for this wonderful display, and we're just so happy to be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And it also gives us pleasure through the Legion Veteran Banner Program. We do have Mr. Frame's banner here as part of that display. But what's really important with having that display, they're able to share it electronically through our website. And I visited with Adrian last few months ago in Toronto, and we just looked it up on her tablet, and so she was so delighted to be able to see that in electronic form. Whether it's here on our website in Lethbridge or halfway around the world, that's just another way of preserving our local heritage and history. So at this time, Adrian, I'd like you to invite you to officially declare the William Edward Frame Citizen and Soldier Temporary Exhibit open.
Well, that's my very great pleasure. I certainly am happy to declare the display, this wonderful display, open.
Thank you.